We are live. Finally.
All
Okay?
right.
Finally. And I just want to say that was nerve wracking. Okay? And you know what, Missy? Let me just tell you that is how my life has been going for the last like couple of months. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Tell me how you've been.
I've been doing well. I started back to college um, for nursing. Um, Quiet as it's kept, I think that I'm going to um, enter a doctoral program, but I just have to finish up what I'm doing now. But other than that, still doing more community outreach, especially in regards to health literacy, making sure people really understand what their diagnosis is. But also, I'm really strong on the navigation piece, helping people get the resources that they need to get the care that they need. So it keeps me out of trouble.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Doctoral?
Yeah, yeah. Pray for me. That's all I can say.
Wow. Where?
I don't know yet. I'm looking.
All right. I
Mm,
hear you.
mm-hmm.
So we're here to celebrate women's National Women's Month,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
International Women's Month, I want to say. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so I'm just going to catch you up on me.
Okay.
So, as everybody knows, I've been actually caring for my mother, my sister, my children,
Mm-hmm.
on occasion my grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be really taxing.
Mm-hmm.
It could be really, really taxing. And I know I've read this article from you that says, let me find it real quick. Oh, can't find it right this second.
It was the article from AARP.
Yes, 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 yes. And it was talking about how important self-care is. And it said according to Family Caregivers Alliance, caregivers often report suffering from poor eating habits,
Mm-hmm.
poor sleeping habits,
Mm-hmm.
poor exercise habits,
Mm-hmm.
and often neglecting making medical appointments for
Appointment.
themselves.
Yeah.
I
They
mean, can I tell you that I've been like trying to get services for my sister because she's getting her knee operated on,
right. I
right?
recall.
Right. And that's been taxing because like she's not following up, and I have to do that for her. So I mean, it's hard to navigate
It is.
that world.
It
You
is.
know, you start off with PCA, and then PCA sends you to an independent contractor, and
Right.
then they evaluate her, and
Right.
then there's paperwork, and then once they evaluate, they send it to the doctor's office, and then doctor's office has to be like on point, and
Right.
if you're not, that takes a while, and
Right.
then we found ourselves having to find the doctor, and then when we found she had to go to the doctor, then you gotta make an appointment for that, right?
Right.
Then she goes to the doctor, fills out the paper, and then he faxes it back to the independent contractor. Then you have to deal with the state.
Right.
We started dealing with the state a long time ago, and the paperwork came back, and she didn't see the deadline, so I didn't get the paperwork to after the deadline.
Oh.
So I mean, girl, and then wait, let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you. Today, all right, so mommy's having a problem. Well, of course, with diapers and stuff, say that word,
Incontinence.
incontinence. You
Mm-hmm.
you can see who went to class and who didn't. I don't know if the audience knows, but Missy and I went to high school together. But anyway, so incontinence, right?
Yes. Very
So
good.
anyway, it's kind of like we have to help her to the bathroom, all that. So you know what we did, Missy? We ordered a hospital bed.
Good.
We
Good.
ordered a hospital bed for her. But
Good.
listen, Listen, that comes from another medical equipment place. Had to get a script for that. Went to
Right.
the social worker. Bye bye. All that. Right.
Right.
But wait. So he comes today. He didn't speak fluent English, and I
Ugh.
was like, "Well, are you going to help us take the old bed away? Because that has to be timed right. Because my
Right.
mother's where she stays is in the bed."
Right.
So
Right.
he's like, "No, we're not going to help you with that." I'm like, "Okay, all right, all right, all right." So snafu, right? So all of this causes me stress,
Hmm.
and it, it hurts.
It does hurt. It's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. And I'm going to say this to you, and I just want you to think about it a little bit. And it has to do. It says, how do you eat an elephant? And just a bite at a time. It's not all. I want you to understand healthcare. It almost always doesn't go the way that you think that it's going to go. So you can have the best laid out plans, and like you said, it's a snafu, and you didn't know anything about it. But that doesn't have anything to do with the way that you plan it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, first of all, I'm learning how to give myself a break for these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know what, I got to give myself a break because you see me looking because I'm everyone in the audience. I am texting other people to join our broadcast, so that's what I'm doing. But I mean, it's like it's taxing, man. And then you have doctors talk to you in doctor lingo. Let me tell you, audience, if I didn't have a friend like Missy to call and say, "What does this mean?" I mean, and then I mean, I probably make the doctors mad because I'm like, guess what? You gotta break that down for me because I don't understand what you're saying. You know what I mean?
I think more people need to do that. I think a lot of people come away from the doctor's office and don't necessarily have a good handle on what exactly it is that the physician is saying. And you know what? That explains a lot why a lot of times the doctors say, "Well, did you do A, B, and C?" And the person goes, "No." And that's because they didn't understand it. It's a way that we have to be spoken to so that we can do the things that we need to do. And guess what? It's not impressive to me if you come in and use fancy lingo that I don't understand. So, and I'm a nurse, and when they come in, I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean." And they get so annoyed with me. But that's okay because I'm the patient. They said, one doctor said to me one time, "Aren't you a nurse?" I said, "I'm a nurse when I'm not in here in the doctor's office. But right now I'm the patient. Now, what is it that you need to tell me? And what information is it that you need to give me?" I want them to normalize speaking to people in a way that they can understand.
Right, right.
And they
That's
can
right.
start with me.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
The other part of it too is I I don't know. I know that you're doing a lot of things on your own, and I don't know who it is that you can ask for help, but some things you may need to delegate. You may need to delegate to some people. Small things so that you could take that off your plate because you already said you said, "I've lost weight, I'm not eating," you know all of those things because you're trying to manage a lot. And then on top of it you says, "Well, I want to manage it a little bit better." That enough puts more stress on you. So I just want you to think about not about what is missing, but all of the things that you are doing, which is a lot.
Thank you. So that's what brings us today, right? So now that you know how crazy Toya Algaren's life is, I want to bring some resources to our community and let you know, like I'm well, one of my guests, right? She is amazing, and I actually often enough will just go sit in her shop, right? And I'm gonna read her bio. Her name is Ellen Rubin, and she is the founder of Love to Knit and More. It's a full service yarn store in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. And she's a creative director of Therapeutic Crafters on Call. How about that, right? She's a long term advocate of mental health benefits of knitting and crocheting and has taught knitting and other fiber arts to thousands of children and adults over 20 years, developing therapeutic programming for a variety of nonprofits, governments, hospitals, and other institutions. And prior to that, she was a immunologist. She's going to say what that is. Okay. Conducting research in fields of ovarian cancer, multiple sclerosis, and asthma, and also toxicology and microbiology based research. I think
Mm.
I said that pretty good, right? But you know what she does for me? She lets me sit and knit. So I'm gonna add Ellen to our screen.
Hi, Toya. Hi,
Hey, how
Missy.
are you?
Hi.
So
Hey,
great to
Ellen.
see ya. Nice to meet you, Missy.
Nice to meet you. I'll definitely have to come to your shop the next time in the Philadelphia area.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Toya. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I did a lot of different things, and let's just talk about oh, I'll help you. It's a big word, immunologist. It, it's it's
Thank you.
it's it's about your immune system, and I like to say now that it was really convenient that I went into that field because as soon as the pandemic started, I was like, oh, okay, and let me explain certain things to people. And Missy, as you said, I would try to encourage people to get their vaccination by explaining to them this is why you need to get it, and not dumb it down because I hate when people do that, but explain it in terms that
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense. This is why
Mhm.
your immune system, this is why you need. Anyway, so let me start talking about, as a woman, I think it's very natural for us to be a caregiver and put ourselves last. And I certainly am one of those people that did that and still do that on many occasions. In light of that, what we do at Love to Knit and More and our nonprofit division, Therapeutic Crafters on Call, is to teach people how to knit and crochet for the therapeutic benefit. That's really the main mission and the driver behind how this all started. I was working as a scientist, but also working at a number of different knitting and crochet stores teaching people. I was working with the youth in Cheltenham and ran an enrichment program and did other things. And I was just noticing how much it was benefiting people. I saw people from all different walks of life having it help them with their stress, their anxiety, their depression, PTSD, drug and alcohol addiction. It also helps with autistic patients, etc. And so therefore, I was really wondering as a scientist, why at the base of this, is this really feeling good? Everybody says how knitting and crochet is meditative, but I really wanted to know why, because, well, as a scientist, you ask questions and I'm very inquisitive. I think I've always been inquisitive. Nonetheless, what happens is, and I say this to everybody I meet, your brain is producing dopamine and serotonin when you do these sorts of activities. It's not exclusive to knitting and crochet, but there are some many other benefits to knitting and crochet, like the portability and the community that you can build. Your blood pressure decreases, your heart rate decreases, as well as your cortisol levels decrease. High levels of cortisone or cortisol in your body, it's detrimental to your immune system. So there's just so many benefits to knitting and crochet, and it's not really just the tangible stuff. Um, so Love to Knit and More, we teach people. So all people from all walks of life. I work with a large population, a decent population of people who have autism. Some of the outreach that we have done when we started with the store before we got approval for our nonprofit was working with maternity patients on long-term bed rest. worked also with nurses and support staff at a local hospital for compassion fatigue. I had read a really great journal article that Missy, I think you'll be interested in. It's called The Impact of Knitting Intervention on Compassion Fatigue in Oncology Nurses. And it wasn't really a big stretch to say, well, if it's going to help oncology nurses, it certainly could help other nurses. So that's when I reached out to Abington. And even last week, I had someone who came into the store and said that their group is still meeting. And this was nurses that got together through all different departments. So you can see that there's a lot of other benefits other than just learning how to do stuff like this. So Love to Knit and More works with all different populations of people. People come here, hang out and knit and crochet. I give lessons all the time. And we also do other charitable things. Pre-pandemic, we were meeting once a month, and I was giving everybody yarn, and we would make things for different organizations. We made over 100 preemie caps for babies at Einstein, etc. I would drive during the winter. When the pandemic started, I was driving down Broad Street, handing out stuff to homeless individuals, walking around the city, just handing out stuff in Center City, Philadelphia. Our store, like I said, the mission is really to help people. And especially now more than ever, it's really important. Our nonprofit division works with different other organizations. Recently, we had a program at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia where me and another volunteer went there and worked with kids that have hemiparesis. And that means that they've had a stroke. It was their camp All Hands on Deck. And if you can imagine, about 7 children who have some sort of problem with one side of their body due to the stroke. So the staff there wanted them to do a bimanual activity, meaning they're using both of their hands because then they're using both sides of their brain. And if I could only just take you to that situation with all these kids learning and the joy and the passion and the excitement about what they had made, it was really such a joy to do stuff like that. So our nonprofit is in its infancy, I like to say, because COVID kind of interfered with that. One of my main missions, and I say my, but I really mean our, because I started with the concept, and now we have a team of dedicated volunteers who I can tell you that this would never have happened if I didn't have all these wonderful people who believe in the mission and are invested in it and know how much it really can transform an individual. Our goal is to be working with the children and youth in Philadelphia. I feel very strongly that they need an outlet. And this is perfect for not only guys, but also young ladies, everybody. Also, I would like to see us working at the Ronald McDonald House and working with patients and caregivers. And I've been saying this for longer than the existence of the store. I just was noticing and telling everybody over the past almost 20 years that this is really great for you, but I really didn't know why until recently. So I don't know if I answered all the questions. Oh, Toya, you did ask me to show a couple of things that I've made or that we've done in classes. But so let's start with, I brought some help here today. Okay. So she's a little bit stiff, but that's only because she's my mannequin. Okay. So this is a poncho that we had in a class.
It's a nice really too.
Poncho with a hood. And we teach people literally with all abilities. I work with autism, and those people who are afflicted with autism, I've had them make sweaters and hats, and you just have to approach it differently. I've worked with people that adults with strokes. So that happens to be a project that we recently did. the hat that I was wearing on that really great picture. I love this because it's so soft. The tactile sensation with that is just wonderful. Um, and
How about
what
the
else
scarf
should?
you have on?
Oh, okay, yes. This is a little triangular shawl, and it's called the Bright Side. And what's really cool about that is, I don't know, it just
That's really
creates this.
cool, man. I never finished mine.
Well, I'm going to make sure that you do, Toya, okay? Because you're going to come in here on one of those days that you have a few minutes to yourself. You're just going to hang out, and I'll just, come on, Toya, you can do it, you know? It's one skein. You can totally do it.
Let me
Um,
put my let me put my request in now.
I did give you a scarf I made though, Missy.
I have it. I have
Okay, okay.
it.
But you know, the other thing which you're talking about with children, because the funniest thing, this is almost like a crossover show, because you know, I just fight for injustice in the world, right? So you know I work a lot with
Yep.
kids. So I also have a after school program at a school right now. And I'm about to start another one tomorrow. And what I do is I crochet with kids. And the funniest thing that about this is another school called me and was like, Toya, can you please come back? Because I hadn't been in the school because of COVID, you know? And they were like, Toya, please come back. Our kids have been on these computers for so long, they forgot how to write. We need them using their fingers.
so,
We need them
and
using their hands.
socialization.
We
Mhm.
need you back in here as soon as possible. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was when you were talking about, you know, girls and boys like it. Let me tell you something. Right now in my class, the one who took to crocheting is the boy. Okay. And he did a great job. He made a mask. So now I'm gonna have my children like they're gonna start vending and selling their own products.
Oh,
Great.
nice.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Well, you know,
it's like entrepreneurship as well as crocheting.
yep, yep. And there's there's cognitive benefits. I really
Mhm.
truly believe that on a fundamental level, that neurons are making new connections when you do this sort of work. I mean, they teach this at Montessori schools. And on top of it, I want to mention guys were really the first people to really do knitting and crochet. It wasn't women. And there's this misnomer about that. And if anybody like Samaj is a guy that comes to my store, and I teach him how to like. There's no. It doesn't matter if you're a guy, a girl, or whatever gender you identify with, or no, you know, all those different things. It's a good thing for you. Good for your brain. So, you know, Toya, you know how I feel about this. I get so excited, I can't even talk straight a lot of the time, and I start bouncing off the wall and not thinking straight. But you know, I really thank you for bringing me on. And you
I
know,
don't want
I
you to go
know.
anywhere. I still got another guest. I
Oh
don't
no, I
want
know
you to go
that,
anywhere. We're gonna
but
chat.
we need to do more community outreach,
Yep.
and really in Philly, because you know I'm a Philly girl. Um, Went to college in Philly. My parents grew up in Philly. I've always been a stone's throw from Philly, and
Yep.
I know these kids really need something to help them get through what we've all been through.
Yep.
It's not over yet.
And the thing about it is I know what it does for me. And the fact that like when I'm having a bad day, where do I come? I sit right next to you. You know
Yeah.
that. And I'm sitting in there like just sitting there like um oh wait, somebody has a comment. A famous Eagle football player forgot his
Oh,
name. He did
yeah.
needlepoint. I think that
Rosie
was
Greer. That's
Rosie
Rosie
Greer.
Greer.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
hey, what about what's the swimming guy? Oh my God, I can't believe the Olympic guy.
Mark
Um,
Spitz.
no, not Mark. The guy Tom, the guy who just
Reggie,
won
no,
gold.
Reggie White. She said Reggie White.
Oh, Reggie White too.
Mhm,
Listen,
mhm.
I had a guy come in here last week, and real cute 6'2" guy, actually probably even taller, and he's like, I use it to just decompress at the end of my day. And so really this is good for everybody. And it, it's not really, I always like to say, it's not about what you make, it's about how it makes you feel. And it makes you
Right.
feel good. If you don't need something, you can make a gift for somebody. And The other thing is, I always say is, you um, you can always go out and buy a gift for somebody, but when you take that time and you put that love and care into it, there's nothing better. Like when that recipient, there's nothing better than that.
So next up we have my girlfriend Joy. I'm sorry, my son is
Thank you,
texting
Toya.
me. No, I don't want you to go anywhere. We
I'm
still got
not
to
going
chat.
anywhere. You got
Okay.
me here.
Oh, there you are, Missy. I'm like, Missy's out. It's been a snafu day. It's been like, crazy day. Um, okay, Joy. Wait, let me. I'm gonna introduce Joy. I'm adding you to the stream, Joy, and I can read a little bit about you on your website that I already have. And Joy, tell us about yourself. It's one,
Wow.
please. I mean, it's a long one. I'm
Hello,
trying.
ladies.
It's a lot.
That's fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this opportunity. I'm a ball of nerves, and I'm going to have to dig into my toolkit right now to relieve some stress myself.
I'll
I
teach
don't
you how
know
to
why
knit.
I'm so nervous. I'm always on live, so I don't get it. But anyway, this is so different for me. But anyhow, thank you, ladies. But so a little bit about myself and how I ended up in the wellness practitioner field. Many years ago, in my 20s, I lost my dad to a tragic accident. So I was in my early 20s. It was in 2001, and we all know what 2001 brung also. So my dad passed away in July of 2001, and then a couple months later, 9/11 happened. So life for me in my early 20s, I was just like completely a ball of nerves. I didn't know what was happening. I was fearful of life in itself, and I just didn't have any outlets. I had no outlets. For many years, I suffered from anxiety and stress, but at that time, I didn't know what it was. So a couple years later, I took therapy, and I started to discover some things about myself, and that I was, still suffering from the traumatic loss of my father and 9/11, all those events that took place that year. And they suggested medication for me, but I'm really in touch with my body, so I kind of felt like that wasn't really the best option for me. And the fact that they told me that it might make a difference or it might not make a difference. You'll have to, we'll put you on a low dose and follow up and let us know how you feel. I didn't really know how I was feeling. I didn't know if it was working, if it wasn't working. So, later down the line, I may have taken it. I on, off, on, off, on, off. So I just knew it wasn't right for me. So I eventually decided not to do that. And I started to learn more about my body and its physical needs and emotional needs. And through therapy, that helped with that. And I started to explore other options with holistic therapies. And I became a Reiki practitioner, which Reiki deals with energy in the body and releasing energies in the body. And then as I started to understand more about aromatherapy and meditation and really, really implementing it in my life and making it a part of who I was for many years, I just continued to just add on and learn. And eventually, I really felt connected with mentoring through the internet. I found a lot of different people that I started to follow, and one was Iyanla Vanzant. And she you can research her, but anyway,
Everybody should know her by now.
everybody should know
Yeah.
you, right? I was very connected with her as a young woman, a young Black woman struggling with these emotional traumatic experiences and pasts. I really connected with her work, and I started to read her books, and I also started to practice the techniques. I followed her heavily on on all her pages and all of her different things that she had. I just follow Iyanla, and I learned about tapping. So later down the line, I decided that I wanted to become a life coach and help others to understand the importance of taking care of self, because it was really a struggle for me to understand that not everything works for everybody. Not everybody can sit for 15 minutes and meditate. Not everybody can journal. Not everyone can do everything, all of these things. Sometimes it's not as easy for a person to do it. So I feel like if you have a system, and if you have systems in place, then this is attainable. If you have someone that's helping you along the line, along your path, then it's attainable. And that's what I do through my coaching, my wellness coaching. And I also help people I educate people on what EFT tapping is. And you can ask me what that is if you want to.
What is that?
What is that?
So on to the good stuff.
Right.
So later down the line, I discovered that meditating really wasn't good for me. I just couldn't seem to really find the time to sit and do this and, like concentrate, because as I'm meditating, I'm thinking about every other thing that's happening. I'm just thinking, just thoughts are just running through my head, right? So I don't think that I'm getting the full benefit of it. So tapping is, it's a spiritual and a healing technique, and it allows you to move the energy through your body and move out energy from your body that's trapped. Because what happens is through our lives, all of the things that we're going through, all of the stress, all of the anxiety, it's just building up. And what happens is our body is filled with energy, right? So throughout the 300, it's like 300 points of energy in our body. So when we don't take care of our bodies and understand the importance of clearing out that energy, it becomes blocked. There's blockages. And through tapping on certain meridian points on your body, you can help the body naturally allow it to flow in the directions that it's supposed to do. And also, it really relieves a lot of stress and tension. You can feel immediate results when you do the tapping exercises. So it's been very helpful for me because it's so easy to do. And I just wanted to be able to share that and teach others how to do it. So through my coaching, I actually add this in as an extra benefit for them to learn about it and to actually utilize it and put it in their toolkit for wellness. It's amazing how effective it is. And it helps people with stress, anxiety, emotional wellness, anger management, physical pain. Specifically, you can do specific tappings for specific purposes. I'm trained in both emotional freedom technique and also thought-filled therapy techniques. So they're two different ways of tapping. But there's numerous different recipes for whatever it is that you're experiencing. However, I always tell people there's still a very simple way to get to the point and get your stress relieved. So I usually teach that technique, and I would love to share it with you all today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, I'm sitting here
You're like, okay, just get to
it. I'm ready.
Okay, so let me first teach you about the points. Okay, the points on our body. So let's think of acupuncture. As everyone's pretty familiar with acupuncture. So I think that tapping is kind of the same type of idea, but you're using your fingers to tap on the points instead of the pins in those same points, right? So the first point actually that we usually start with is the hand. So it's right below your finger. And everyone at home, I really suggest that you do this with me, right? So it's right below your pinky finger in this area, like right here. So you'll take like 3 fingers and you'll just push your fingers into it and tap lightly. It doesn't have to be heavy. You just tap right in that area. That's the first area. Okay, this is called the psychological reversal area. And sometimes when you're actually, if you dig a little bit in, you can feel like you can feel a little, it's not a pain, but it's like a little soreness in the spots that you are in. And that's when you know you're in the right spot for tapping.
I'm in the right spot.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So that's the first spot. And the reason why we start with the hand is because this is where all of the nerve endings go out of your hands and the palms the soles of your feet. So we start with our hand. Some people do it this way. So that way you're really making sure you get it. So that's the first tapping point.
Oh, really?
Just like this. Yep. With those 2 points together. Get it. It's called the karate chop or psychological reversal spot. Okay, so the next spot is actually right where your eyebrow starts. These 2 points right here. Like it's like if you move your finger to the ending of your eyebrow, you'll actually, like I said, if you put your fingers around it, you can kind of feel a little soreness when you hit the spot. But usually what I like to do to make sure that I hit the spot is I'll use 2 fingers and tap right in that area. So
I'm making you like the big point. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's the second spot. Let me take my glasses off. And then after that, we go outside of the eyebrow line right here at the end. You'll actually feel a groove at the end of your eyebrow. And it's like a little groove right at the end of your tip of your eyebrow. And that's the next point.
That feels really good.
Okay, so the next point is under your eye. Right? You'll feel all these like grooves under your eye, right? So I usually take 2 fingers on both sides. You don't have to use both sides. I just do to make sure I just get all the blockages removed. So you go under your eye like this. And you pretty much won't miss a spot right in this area. And then it's under your nose, which is really hard to miss too. So right between your nose and your top of your lip, I usually use 2 fingers and tap in that spot. And then below your lip, between your lower lip and your chin, right in that groove, that's the next spot. And you just use the 2 fingers and tap. And then there's 3 more spots. So what you're going to do is right at your collarbone, the beginning of it, right in this area underneath your, the beginning of your collarbone, basically, the ends of them. You'll also feel that little, it's like a little groove like in there. And it'll be a little soreness, but some people will tap on either side. Or you can just to make sure you hit it, you can just hit the whole area like this. That's up to you. But I usually just hit the top. I hit the bone right there on both sides. And then the next one is under your arm, right? It's the brow line for women, like right between your underarm and before I have a little roll to keep me in check of where I am. So everybody doesn't have that roll, but it's right under your underarm, the brow line for women. And you pat that with your whole hand. Okay. So you take your whole hand and just pat it. And then the last point that we'll be tapping on is the top of our head. Okay, so you're going to take, it's about 3 finger widths. You go like 1, 2, 3 from your scalp. I mean, what is this called? Whatever this is called. Right here to the, like, you'll go like 3 finger widths up to the, like to this middle, sort of the middle, but not quite at the middle. And it's like a little, you'll feel a little dent there. Unless my head is not formed properly. But you'll feel a little dent there. It's probably because I tap so much, I might just have a dent there already. But you'll take like 2. Usually what I do is I'll either take all 4 of my fingers and just tap in the whole spot right here. So that way I make sure I get it. Or you could take two hands and use your fingers, all four, and tap in the whole area. So that way you know you got the spot. So those are the tapping spots that we're going to use. And I'm going to take you through like a brief exercise because that was just to show you what the tapping points were. Okay. Now this is a very short one. Normally the exercises could last up to 15 to 20 minutes. This is just something that you can do. Just if you're in your day, you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, whatever it may be, just to kind of bring it down a couple levels. So what we ask our clients first is to tell us what their level is at that moment, whatever it is that you're dealing with, if it's stress, anxiety, or, feeling in pain.
Caregiving, care partnering.
Right. So whatever you're feeling, like between a level of 1 to 10, we rate that. So that way, once we're finished the tapping session, if it's lowered by even 1, you know that, it's been beneficial for you. And then to repeat that exercise, right? So you're going to think about that. And you're going to say, first, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe 3 times. And after that, I'm going to ask you to think about or say aloud. You can say it aloud, or you can think about what it is that is bothering you. So you may say, I'm just feeling stressed, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm not feeling good. Well, I'm not feeling well, or I have an ache in my leg, whatever it may be. Right. So then after that, I'll go through the tapping with you. And I'll just tell you as we're going along, you can keep your eyes closed. You can keep them open, whatever you like. But I will let you know that we've ended and you can bring yourself back to the room once you're comfortable. And then you'll tell me what your levels are at that point, if they've come down any. So that's what we'll do. So if you're ready, then we can get started.
Ready?
All right. So you're going to just put your hands on your heart and take 3 nice calming breaths in and out. Okay, so I'm going to guide you through the exercise. So you're going to tap on the side of your hand and you're going to tell yourself what it is that you're stressed about or whatever it is that you're feeling right now. And then you're going to tap on your eyebrow point and let it go. You can say to yourself, let it go. Outside of your eye, it's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. Under your eye, it's safe to let it go. It's safe to let it go. Under your nose, let it go. Under your mouth, let it go. Collarbone, just let it go. Just let it go. Head, top of the head, it's safe to let it go. I am safe. I am well. And then you're going to take a deep breath and blow it out. And you're going to hold your wrists just like this with your finger point and your thumb and say peace. So that was a very basic, very, very basic tapping. And I missed a point, but it's okay. But because this is a fast, really quick one. And I don't know, ladies, how do you feel?
Definitely more relaxed.
I absolutely feel more relaxed. Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? I honestly think that sometimes you have so much stress that you don't even realize when you calm down. But this really had me go like, oh, okay. The deep breathing. It was significant. It was really significant.
Joy, like there is, as a geeky scientist, there is such a mind body connection. I think we're almost trained to like separate the two. And
Mm-hmm.
that when you look at the fact that the two are interconnected, and that what you're doing by the tapping really probably is helping those different nerve connections and just calming your mind and working together. So I truly believe that works.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
If Mhm.
Toya, before we leave, I know that we're talking about women, and we're talking about history, and we're talking about health as well. And one of the things that I want to bring up is that women who did fantastic things in history didn't live a long time, and that was because they didn't care for themselves. So it's just a couple things that I wanted to bring up, so that if you're a woman that's over 40, some things that you should talk to your physician about, on a yearly basis, getting your physical, um, depression screening, because or anxiety screening. Um, it's it's actually underdiagnosed in women, especially older women. And this would be, if somebody opts not to do medication or whatever, something that Joy offers would be great for them. Also, having your blood pressure checked. Also, um, alcohol or drug screening, because we do see more of that. We may see some of that in older adults. Now the standard is that everybody that is sexually active, no matter what, gets HIV tested and STD tested. And in DC where I live, they don't even have to ask permission. They just go ahead and do it as part of your yearly physical.
Oh, wow.
Checking your cholesterol, because your cholesterol directly impacts your heart, and it also gives you a higher risk for stroke. Also, checking your blood sugar and your A1C, making sure that you get your mammogram, making sure that you get your pap smear from your gynecologist, eye exam or and dental exam. You wouldn't believe how many people get sick from not having their teeth cared for. And then if you're a person that takes vaccines, getting a flu vaccine, and then a booster, a TB, I'm sorry, a tetanus booster, which you do every 10 years. So those things, it sounds like a whole lot, but when you go to the doctor's office, just a few tests that they need to do, some physical exams. And I'll use myself for an example. I I really was going through a bad way. I went to the doctor. I said, "Listen, I'm in a bad way, and I think I'm gonna need some medication for depression and things like that." I went there. I said, "I want you to give me Prozac. I want you." I came in with a whole list of stuff, and my doctor said, "Well, Missy, I'm glad you came in." She says, "But I want to do some testing first." And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm telling you what I know. I don't want to feel this way. I want you to do something different. I've seen it before in other people. And she said, well, let me do the test. And she says, once the results come back, we're going to talk about it. And she did some blood work, and she said, I want you to come in. And I was like, she's just going to give me the blues. I want to feel better right now. But what it turned out was it was
Thyroid.
my thyroid.
I was just about to say it was your thyroid.
My
Yep.
thyroid, my hair was falling out, all of these different things. So something as simple as getting a blood test done for a woman that's over 40, you know, you say, gosh, am I going crazy? Do I need all of these things? when in fact your body may really be going through something. Joy, I want to thank you for sharing your story with us, but also for being open enough to let people know that there are more options. There are plenty of people that I have met personally that don't want to do medications, that don't necessarily care, don't necessarily want to work with physicians, or they want to go for certain things and not other things. And this is something that they can try. I know that it works. I'll share one more thing. I had a stroke in my 30s, and I had left-sided weakness, and I walked with a cane for 2 years. And they said, Miss Moore, we want you to go get meditation. I was like, no, just give me the tape. I'll play the tape. But I never played the tape. And finally, the doctor says, you know what? You're just going to have to go. That's it. And when I went there, it dropped my blood pressure 20 points. Dropped my blood pressure 20 points. And I said, well, it's something to this. Because initially I just rolled my eyes in my head like, this doctor is tripping in here. But he really had a seriously, I mean, especially from a nurse. You talking to a nurse, I'd be like, can I get a pill? I know they got a pill for this. But when I went there, and it really affected my blood pressure. I have the apps on my phone. If I go someplace and people are showing out, I put my headphones in. Oh, take a deep breath. Oh, Missy, you're on the beach. Do you see the water? Whatever it is, so that I can zone out and not be stressed out by what the people are doing. But thank you for an alternative, for talking about it, and for sharing your story, because some of us need to hear it. I've heard it before, but I'm glad that you're telling us about it. It's something that everybody needs to hear.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thank you so much. And also, just to let you know that you can, anyone watching can visit my site, wellnessandjoymatter.com, and you could look at the bookings for me through Heal Me. It's heal.me/joy. So I'm on a actual wellness practitioners website database. So you can also access other practitioners in those different areas of meditation therapists and massage therapists and sound therapy therapists, all kinds of fun, different alternatives to.
I actually put both of your websites, how you guys could be reached, in the podcast down there. So they have your stuff. But
Thank you.
One thing I'd like to say
go ahead. Yeah,
is, you know, life is difficult, and I think a lot of times when we go through tough stuff, people tend to think that they're all alone, and it's very hard to reach out. And I think it's really important, especially women, to know that we're not alone, that there are lots of people that have experienced the same things that we have experienced, and that there are the resources there to help you, and that you shouldn't be shy, or reach out, ask people. One other of my mantras that Toy has heard me say many times is, I feel like nobody gets through life unscathed. And no matter what it is, we all have a different story. And, we need, as women and caregivers and just human beings, to be there for one another. I feel like we all need to support one another to get through this thing called life. And if more people did that, then the world would be a better place. And, there is definitely a mind-body connection, and know that you're not alone, and that there are people that care about you and can help you.
I mean, all right. So we got about 10 more minutes. Is that okay? A few more minutes,
Okay.
because I want Ellen. Hold on, I'm gonna get my notes out. Ellen, I want you to talk about. I mean, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here. Right? And the reason why I'm saying it like that is because all of you have brought me some type of joy
Oh, well, that's
through
sweet.
through because I'm really stressed out, right? Like I said, I lost a lot of weight. I haven't drank though, right? Because everybody knows I'm sober. I crochet myself sober, but with prayer and crochet.
Good for you.
But finding Ellen, was it was amazing because I haven't stopped coming. What 2-3 years now? I don't even know where I found you, Ellen. But I walked in that store and I haven't
Maybe
stopped.
it was coming to Outback and you brought the
Yeah,
girls
maybe.
too. Your
Yeah, I
schoolgirl.
brought my schoolgirls. I brought the president of my chair of the board at KIP came. I mean, I go there like I said, I go to her shop when I'm feeling low. And I just need some creative spirit, something to take my mind away from the moment that I'm in. And Missy, she's truly helped me with care partnering with my mom and stuff that I didn't understand. But Joy, baby, now I got you, okay?
True
You
joy.
know, and I see you almost every day. And she teaches a club, after school club as well. We at the same school. So Joy, we're gonna be tapping with those kids to calm them down. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To
Yes.
calm them down. But Missy, tell me about the associate, because right now we're going to share these resources that we have. We all have
Okay.
these resources.
Okay.
So tell me about it's in my notes. The Black Nurses Association.
Oh, so the National Black Nurses Association is an association that nurses of all over the country, I believe we have 152 chapters, and they do very significant work. Everything from research to health fairs. The organization is comprised of nurses of color in leadership all across the country. I've been a member now, I want to say about 15 years or so. Some of my mentors are from the leadership of Black nurses, and what I say is that they've encouraged me to do more, to look at things a little bit different, and to serve. And you have to be in service of something. And this organization, the initiatives may change from year to year, but the goal is still the same, and that is to support people, disparaged people, marginalized people with their health care. So they've been around 50, I think it's 50, 52 years, 51 or 52 years. And um almost you can find almost any kind of nurse um at at the association. They do really, really great work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know Ellen has therapeutic crafters on call. Tell me about that.
So that is the nonprofit division where we work with different organizations and teach people how to knit and crochet. So, like I was mentioning, Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, we worked with the kids that had hemiparesis. Also, at Abington Memorial Hospital, where we worked with nurses and support staff to prevent compassion fatigue, where we also worked with the maternity patients on bed rest. So it's I'd like to also I've worked with cancer patients, et cetera, dialysis patients. So that it's in our infancy right now. COVID did put a little damper on doing that outreach because one-on-one person sort of stuff was hampered. But that's what we do. we teach people for the therapeutic benefit. And you can look it up at therapeuticcraftersoncall.org.
Okay. Okay. And Joy, do you have a service? Tell us about your coaching and a typical day in coaching and the tiers and stuff like that. She has a
Okay, I have a visitor that just snuck into the room, so I apologize. My
Okay.
daughter just came in. She broke loose
It's
from my
fine.
mother. Okay,
Aw.
1 second. I'll be right there. You can get your ice cream. Oh, good. Go get me one. I'm sorry. So,
you want a chocolate one, or banana?
yes, chocolate.
Okay.
This is live. This is
It's life.
That's right.
It's all good.
So I do offer life coaching and EFT services. So my life coaching really revolves around making sure that individuals, specifically individuals with stress and anxiety, that really need support in maintaining healthier habits mentally, and self-care habits. And by doing so, I actually work out of I have my own coaching system. So you can access an app and you will work directly with me throughout the process. And you could add your actions or your goals, and we work through them together through coaching sessions. Many of the exercises that I do, I get from my resource bank, psychology.com. And we do different exercises for mindset shifts so that individuals can attain, their goals of wellness and self-care and whatever that really means to them. So I actually educate patients or clients, I apologize, clients, on the importance of understanding what wellness means. And that there are 8 elements of wellness. So we go through all of those things and understanding the importance of taking care of self before you take care of others in order to, thank you. She really brought me the cupcake. Taking care of yourself, right, first, in order to take care of others. And Toya, I think you mentioned it in the beginning of the program about the fact that caregivers don't even schedule doctor's appointments for themselves, right? Things like that, just little things like that. You're taking care of someone, but you're not taking care of yourself, right? And it's not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. So debunking all of the different, things that people say about self-care and, negative thinking about self-care, it is not okay to not take care of yourself. Your physical, your mental, and your emotional status is so important, especially for those who are caring for others. It's so important. You are important. And that's what I'm here to support, people that really are feeling like they don't know what to do or how to incorporate it in everyday life.
Thank you so much, ladies. This has been a heck of a day. So
It sounds like it.
I'm just saying, I mean, I feel full right now. I feel full. My heart feels full, and I just want to thank you all for coming on the show this month. I'm like almost in tears, but I'm not going to cry. Seriously, I mean, it means a lot to me because, being a care partner is not easy. So next month, my sister's going to be here. Okay. She's going to be upstairs. Okay. We've been working on this for a year, Missy.
Yes, we have.
She gonna be upstairs, y'all. Lord, I'm gonna come to buy some yarn. Okay, boy, we gonna be tapping, girl. I'll come to the schoolyard like, oh, I'll be crazy. Lord, have mercy, Missy. I'm calling you too. Don't get it twisted.
Listen, call me. Call me.
But
Call
this
me.
is
I hope you
good. This
do.
is really good. I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna end the broadcast, but I don't want the girls to get off. So good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Don't get off.